Welcome back to 10 Tenths Podcast with Michael and Adam and Robbie and Boonie. And we're going rogue. It's old school this week. We have no plan whatsoever.
That's more new school than it is old school.
Is this slip angle style?
This is...
We are recording a podcast.
We are recording a podcast. Adam, will you check your level, please?
Dude, I think this might be our sweatiest podcast.
This is definitely our sweatiest podcast.
Since that one Grid Life.
That's true.
Which Grid Life was that?
The first one in the timing tower.
Yeah, that was like 1,000 degrees.
Oh, you're right. Yep. When we were recording with Abe and...
Yep. We're in the top, third story or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hot.
It's hot.
Your microphone's questionable, Robbie. We
Everything
really
I've touched this week has been questionable.
We really are slip angling it right now. Can you check your level for me?
Welcome to my everyday,
Check
Robbie.
my level. I don't.
Thank you.
All right,
That's
it's working
close enough.
probably.
Hey, Boonie.
How have you
Hello,
been?
Michael. Robert.
Hello. Sorry I dragged you out to my house when
Adam.
I wanted to do it here.
Yeah, it's
My
all
bad,
good. We're
bro.
here at the Kanga Motorsports mobile studio.
Mobile studio.
It is a nice table. It's a very nice table.
It's a nicer table
It's the
than
first
our
time I've
table.
got to see the table. It's quite a table.
Well, I notice you don't come around often.
Well, I'm a busy man. What can I say?
So I guess we got to start there first. You guys, if you need to hug it out or fight it, or he needs to put you in some sort of headlock that I've never heard of before, snuggle struggle, what do you guys got to do to
It's probably best
to bring it in?
Opposite
They're
ends of the
separated.
table.
Yeah, if you're watching the video, they're
keep
separated.
Some distance between
Let's just
us.
see what happens.
Who knows?
We don't have to do anything right now.
It could descend,
It probably
from
will.
here.
It usually does.
It's not an all rise episode. This is a all fall.
I'd recommend.
Robbie's in a really good mood today.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain why you're in a bad mood?
No.
You don't want to? You want to just move on? Okay.
Fuck yeah.
I didn't know if you needed to vent and use this as a therapy session.
We can deal with it next week.
Yeah, we'll see if I can fix it. So.
Okay. Let's just say it's not related to your car.
No,
Is
it's
that
related
fair?
to my daily driver.
Okay. I was
How about
gonna
that?
I was gonna leave it vague,
I
but
feel the pain.
Yeah.
things are going well with the 240 though, right?
Yeah,
And,
that's all.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything should be.
So there
back
are some
together.
positives in life, right?
Yeah, assuming that's
Brief sunshine
yeah.
between the thunderstorms.
Yeah, life is a never-ending train wreck with brief, short amounts of happiness.
Very brief.
Yeah.
Life is a
Yeah,
never-ending series of disappointments, and then you die. Just keep that in mind.
Hey, we got to watch F1 Sunday.
We did get to watch F1
There you go.
Sunday.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, you came over. We had donuts and coffee.
Did you eat any of the donuts?
I had one donut after you left.
Oh, okay.
Where'd you get donuts from?
Well,
Dunkin'.
American runs on Dunkin'.
Yeah. Boonie loves Dunkin' Donuts.
I do. It's a New
Oh,
England
yeah?
thing. I've got my,
Oh, it is?
No-
I didn't know that.
Donkey D's.
Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
know
yeah,
that
but-
was like a regional favorite for them.
No, that's where home office is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever had a Dunkin' Donut.
Adam.
Starting off well.
Yeah, right,
You gotta have some left over.
The headlock's coming faster and faster.
Gotta have to change that.
That I would happily partake in.
No
donuts.
shit.
I'm in on donuts. But I mean,
Hey, it was nice stuff. He invited me over. Coffee and donuts waiting for me when I got there.
He got those for you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you brought those as like
No, he went and got
a guest gift sort of thing.
No, I was gonna.
being a good host. Even did the dishes.
What dishes?
See? Yeah.
he means before you got it.
Oh, yeah. That makes way more sense.
If there's anything I know about kids, it's that they produce a lot of dishes.
Yeah. Lots of bricks hanging around, like half drunk cups of water and
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's out of control.
You know,
Forks in places you never knew you'd find a fork.
Weird. Kids are weird.
Beds
Kids are weird.
all over.
Talked about the stickiness
Yep.
for no apparent reason whatsoever. Boonie agrees with me.
Oh,
Why are they
yeah.
sticky, Boonie? What did they touch?
I-
They just had a shower and
yeah.
the hands washed.
Doesn't
and
matter.
They're still sticky.
Doesn't
Why is that
matter.
happening?
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, we could talk about some car-related stuff. How about that?
Yes.
So, Boonie, you've been doing a lot of things, even since we had you on the podcast last time. Let's start off with this. You went to Le Mans.
I did go over to Europe, and it was kind of centered around going to the Cirque de la Sarthe and seeing the 24-hour.
So, you guys were just on vacation, right? It wasn't...
I was just on
Yeah,
vacation.
what do
Yeah.
you mean you guys? He was by
That was a
himself.
solo trip.
Oh,
I
you went
went-
by yourself? I thought your wife went with you.
No, I went
it
by
was just
myself.
Okay. So, Yeah, that was a highlight of basically the end of the trip then, right? You did some other things, but that was a big part of the trip.
Yeah, I was over there for almost 3 weeks, flew into Zurich, stayed with a buddy of mine who was a exchange student my parents had over 20 years ago when I was in college. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
Something like you still stay in contact with him?
Oh, yeah, I've
really
kept
cool.
in contact with him. That's the 4th time I visited him in Switzerland, and friends of his have
Switzerland
become
as
friends
awesome
of mine.
as we pretend it to be.
It's a utopia on this planet.
Is it?
I'm leaving. Screw you guys. Screw all you guys.
As close as no, I'm serious.
I'm putting the Porsche on a boat. I'm not coming back.
Fuck putting it on
They
a boat.
probably
Just
have
go buy
Porsches
one
there.
over
They're cheaper
Yeah,
there too.
I'm sure they have Porsches
Stupid.
there.
So stupid.
They have
They're like
all the
way cheaper.
BMWs over there. But apparently the thing to do on Saturday mornings and afternoon in Zurich, like, you see all the cars come out, like stupid money driving around.
Well, I'm sure.
You name the mark, it's out there. And just, even during the day, like on a Tuesday, you're like, oh, there goes a Bugatti, there goes a Ferrari. I mean, just
Constantly.
Yeah, it's nothing just to see ridiculousness.
It's where all the money is.
Everyone's richer in Switzerland.
That sounds way better.
We're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
clearly.
exactly. Did you do any driving in Switzerland?
I did
Or
not
did you
drive. I did not get behind the wheel of an automobile the entire time I was there. I took trains.
That's a strange thought to me.
Just hopping on a train?
No,
Jumping to a
just
different
like
country?
being able to go as many places as he did without having to drive.
I either flew or took a train.
Because like in America, that's not a thing, even if you wanted to.
No.
You know, like because you went all over. You visited a handful of countries. You covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. After I was done in Switzerland for 4 or 5 days, I got on a train
Went to Germany.
and went to Germany.
Yeah.
Went up to this smaller town outside of Heidelberg called Waldorf because there was a rockabilly festival going on.
Hell yeah.
And a buddy of mine, Deke Dickerson, was one of the headliners on Saturday night, and I didn't know this until like a week before I left, and I texted him, I was like, hey, you need an extra hand at the festival? He's like, well, you come up, I'll put you on the guest list. And I was like, all right. So it was just on a whim. It's like, all right. As soon as I got over to Switzerland, I was like, got online, got the train ticket, got on Airbnb or whatever, and found a hotel a few blocks away from the venue, and happened to be 6 miles away from Hockenheim. I was like, yep.
Perfect.
We're fucking going to Hockenheim. So found a buddy of Jeek's, like, he was from Belgium, and he and I, like, he was into racing, like, way back in the day, and he was like, oh, yeah, well, my wife and I went by. It's like, I want to go too, but she didn't want to do anything, and I saw that they had open lapping going on, like, with the BMW club. So went over to the track and just watched a whole bunch of local yokels going around on motorcycles and cars, transit vans, you name it. Like, I was just watching this shit happen. It was like, I was telling Gio, my new friend, I was like, this would never happen in the States.
No, you couldn't have a mixed group like that.
Well, they did motorbikes and then autos separate.
Okay.
But you want to go 2 up on a motorcycle around Hockenheim? They were letting you.
Like riding
2 people.
two people on one bike?
Yep.
How are they getting away with that?
I have no clue. You didn't even have to have a helmet on in a car.
Safety was up to you, wasn't it?
There was no course workers.
I think
no flags.
That's a cultural thing too. Like
It has to be.
That's
you
what's wrong with
accept,
this country.
You accept the risk and you accept the responsibility when something goes bad, and that's not kind of really how it works here.
No,
Not at all.
not at all.
Don't get Boonie on a what's wrong with this country.
Yeah.
He will.
That's a different
He spent
type of podcast.
too much time in Europe recently,
Utopia.
and he got used to it. Yeah, he spent too much time in the utopia. Maybe we shouldn't go to Switzerland.
Can't come back.
You won't want to come back.
Yeah, Switzerland
Yeah,
or Germany.
exactly.
You won't want to come back.
I've been to Germany, but I was like 12 maybe, because my family lives over there still.
Oh,
And
where?
northern Germany, like right on the Denmark border.
All right.
So I think I'm technically more Danish than I am German. We just happen to live on that side of the border.
That's really pretty up there, isn't it? Have you been up there?
I've not been to the
I've
north.
not been
It
to
was great.
northern Germany, but I've
It
heard
was
it's really
great.
pretty.
It's always been to Bavaria. you know, where they build the BMWs.
Right. Well,
those fancy Mini Coopers. Is that what he's talking about?
yeah, it's
Nope.
he's a Mini guy though.
Yeah,
I know.
I do. Hey,
You've had two,
it's a
haven't you?
No, just the one.
Oh, for some reason I thought you had an S and a base.
No, just the base.
Okay.
Nope.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with them.
No.
Except for when there is.
Except for when they're new. You didn't buy yours new, though.
No, I did
by any
not.
means.
Depreciation is key.
Yeah, depreciation is key on a Mini and a BMW and a Porsche and a Jag, actually.
Basically any other car out there.
Right. Anything that you actually want to buy, depreciation is important.
Right.
Incredibly.
Let somebody else take that hit.
So after Hockenheim,
So then Hockenheim, went down to Munich for a few days, met up with a friend of mine from over here, went to a lot of museums, went to BMW World, BMW Museum. Highly recommend going to the museum, whether you're a BMW fan or not. Incredibly well curated. There were some amazing pieces of machinery there. Engines from the entire history of BMW, the cars, F1, some of the F1 cars there. I was getting way up and just look into the mechanics. It was engineering porn, like, fuck. I easily could have spent a couple hours just looking at those F1 cars. It was that neat. And the engines, an M1. I was disappointed they didn't have any, like, I thought they would have a Z4, like, fully track prepped. Nope.
Weird.
But
They didn't even have like the newer GT car? Because that's a Z chassis car, isn't it?
the M8,
No, they had before the M8 came out. What was the GT car they were running before the M8?
are you
Z4.
talking? Yeah, it was.
They didn't even have one of those, like a GT3 or something like that.
nope.
Interesting.
There was a Blancpain over at BMW World, but it was up on. It was only for customers that were
rich enough.
driving their cars home from.
Oh,
So you can go there and pick your car up and drive it out of BMW World.
right,
Oh, jeez.
like the European delivery option.
Yep. Yeah. Precisely.
Don't you pay them to fly there to drive
Yes.
your car out of the factory for them to put it on a ship and bring it to you when you get back?
That
Isn't
may
that
be
how European delivery works?
that may be an option.
Dude, Corvette.
double
You
for
used
that.
to be able to pay money to go, like, stand next to the guy while he put your engine together. When you buy
I would be
Vets.
so annoyed if I was the guy that worked.
You would have to pay for that.
Yeah, it's extra money.
That sounds like a
to
Corvette.
go to the
That
factory.
sounds like a Corvette thing.
But dude, that's a BMW or a Porsche thing too. I could easily
No, that is
see
totally a
that.
Corvette thing.
I agree, but I could see Porsche doing that.
So do you have to have steel toes and your New Balances
I don't
when
have
you do
any
that?
Probably
for
now,
those.
'cause
Steel
it's
toed New
America.
Balances.
Yeah.
I would own a pair.
I know.
Of those.
You are on to something there, bud.
That's
That's a great idea, actually. Well, don't they have steel-toed tennis shoes now? Just not New
yeah,
Balance.
yeah,
I
but
had-
you got to have
yeah.
newbies.
I had a pair for a while.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I used to not like boots. I didn't like
Yeah,
them
yeah.
up over my ankles, and
Sure.
so I bought a pair of basically steel-toed tennis shoes. I called them my work my tennis boots. That's what I
Tennis
called them.
boots.
That'd
They
be
were
fun.
they were terribly uncomfortable. I didn't wear them very long.
I bet it would be kind of weird. You don't have
And
any
now
of the
I've-
ankle
yeah, it's a lot
support.
of-
Yeah,
That's a
now
lot
I've
of
come
weight in the
around
front.
to the boot life. I'm jabaying it a lot. So,
But yeah, that's definitely a Porsche thing to pay them
dude, it
to
totally
show up
could
to
be to go to the
drive
factory
your car
and
for
watch
4
your-
minutes to
or
pay
like
them to
watch
ship
your
it.
car go through the
Yeah.
assembly line. Got to pay them.
I
for
assume you
that.
pay for the champagne or the espresso or whatever, the caviar. That you got to pay for that as well, but that's an extra.
Yeah,
It's a Porsche, but if you don't accept it at Porsche, they charge you for that.
You're still
also.
gonna-
right?
yeah.
They probably charge you more if you don't
"Quote
take
unquote" a supplement.
it. Right, exactly.
it's those hidden fees that really get you.
Those are the ones that get you the destination charge. But anyway, so you did BMW World.
So then, yeah, then after Munich, flew over to Paris. Got on the subway, went to the train station, got on another train, really fast train.
Yes.
And what? Pardon?
Let's talk about fast trains real quick.
Dude, they're
like how fast?
I don't know how
dude.
fast it was. Like it was under an hour from Paris to Le Mans, and I don't know.
Probably
That could be
200.
5 miles. that could be 5
Well,
miles.
I think it took.
We're American here.
Yeah,
so like,
I got educated in America. I couldn't tell you any.
For sure, Le
geography.
Mans in a different country.
isn't it?
I don't know.
It was a decent. it took. I talked to Peter, and it took the guy that I met up with at the race, coincidentally, and he said it took them 3.5, 4 hours
to drive
back on Sunday.
Okay.
After the race to Paris from Le Mans.
I wish we had fast trains here.
Fast trains are baller.
Dude, it was
They're
ridiculous.
nice.
So smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one I was on wasn't one of the stupid fast ones, but we were doing 120.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice.
That's not slow.
No.
That's
probably
so
we
fast,
have
though.
people that get killed by trains that go 40 like they do here.
This fucking country. Oh, sorry.
Can you imagine what it would be like if we had trains that did 120 miles an hour?
Oh, no. No.
You need a bigger catcher in the front. Push them out of the way.
At that speed, you don't have a body to bear. They just vaporize.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Maybe it's better that way.
It might be. Yeah.
I think I'd rather go that way.
Yeah.
I'd rather be hit at 120 than 30.
Yeah, like if you got hit by a train in a car, you're gonna feel it the whole time.
Yeah. You're going to hurt for like a long time and then you die.
This you just die. It's
Yep.
just over.
Yeah.
Probably don't even see it.
Yeah, it's like a cough and all of a sudden you're gone. That sounds way better.
Well, that's really depressing. Boonie, what did you do at Le Mans?
So anyway, once I got into town, it was pretty easy to navigate. Just getting from the airport to Le Mans, and then getting into town and figuring out, all right, getting bearings. Like, all right, here's useful places, a supermarket, blah blah blah. So, got to my apartment, and it was all right. It was nothing super fancy, but had a kitchen in it, a living room, and
Are these Airbnbs that you're doing while you're there?
yeah, yep. Other than being in Zurich when I was staying with Oliver, then
Gotcha.
Yeah, but everything else was either hotel or Airbnb. So yeah, got in, and I think I went straight to the track. Once I got in, they had qualifying going on, or one of the last practices, and I tell you what, walking into that circuit and hearing those cars, like, I can't remember the last time I smiled that big.
Really? Because the picture you posted, you're just kind of like sitting there.
No, that was the day of the race. I was just mellow, like, all right.
Not even like you didn't even crack a little bit of a smile. You're just like, at Le Mans, time of my life. Living my best life. Nothing. You couldn't crack a smile like, I'm in Le Mans. I'm happy as shit.
I don't like pictures of me smiling.
I get that.
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't want to put up a front. Wouldn't want people to think you're happy.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, because then you're approachable.
Right.
Nobody wants that.
Especially me.
Don't come up to Boonie. Has anybody come up to you and said that they've listened to you on the podcast? Has that happened yet? You haven't ventured too far yet.
No, Tom down in St. Louis, Tom Eaton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tom is like, because I had the sticker on my car from TT last year. He was like, "Hey, are you one of the guys in the podcast?" We're like, "No, I just give them money every month." Like, oh, you got to have those guys come down. It's like, yeah, I know. And then
I did.
down. And then Robbie came
went down.
down.
It was expensive. I went. So I fix that.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the only time I've ever been noticed for the podcast.
Fair enough.
Next week will be bigger. Everyone will come up to you.
I guess if people if they'd be able to see the white on white on the hood,
Yeah, we'd be way more famous.
we'd be way more famous.
It's
Although
gone
we've already
now, though.
damaged.
Yeah,
we already
it's-
damaged that hood.
How many hoods you on now?
4 on this car.
Yeah.
You didn't do this one though.
I didn't do any- I didn't do
We're
any
not
of
counting that one.
Well,
didn't do any of
you
them.
weren't associated with the car when
it's your
this
team.
happened.
No.
I'll put it this way.
Team.
But it travels with the car, so you kind of you
The
own
car
it.
is on the 4th hood.
It will be on the 4th.
It's a cursed car.
Jordan's on his way to pick up
It's got to be.
a whole bunch of parts tomorrow.
No, third time's the charm.
4th time. We're on the 4th time.
No, it's the third time.
Well, they missed the 3rd time. They're on 4 now.
This is the fourth crash.
No, that's the 4th hood. That's going
Oh
on.
yeah, see, third crash. Now that's the charm. It's good
That
now.
was yeah. Jordan's was the 3rd.
Wait, Jordan crashed it last time? This last time?
Yes,
Oh,
it was. It was
the
total.
fault?
It was total mechanical failure in the brakes, and we still don't know why.
Oh, I didn't know it was
Those are-
Jordan driving. I thought it was.
Jad.
Yeah.
No,
I thought it was
Jad did
Jay.
at Hastings.
yeah, it was the first time.
Okay.
Or the
I thought Chad did both of them for some reason.
No.
Sorry, Chad.
Chad would feel terrible if he did both. That would feel unreasonable.
Yeah, that would hurt. I'd probably walk away.
I would probably walk away also.
Sorry, guys. This is too much of your
I
money.
am not the person for this. I apologize. I'm getting out of here. But any takeaways from Le Mans? Anything that was really...
man.
It's just one of those things you kind of have to experience. I mean, everybody knows what it is. I mean, it's not like... I
don't think everyone knows what it is. I think 50 years ago, even people that weren't into racing knew what it was. But I don't think nowadays people know.
There's like 100,000 people there or something crazy, though, isn't there?
There was almost 250,000 people there.
Really?
That was attendance.
Insane.
That was official attendance this year.
Awesome.
So
but the circuit is so fucking big.
Yeah.
That you don't like.
Doesn't feel that way.
It doesn't feel that way. You know, the food lines once in a while will get long, but other than that, man, if you wanted to bring beer, you wanted to bring food in, you could do whatever you want.
Just don't hurt anybody.
Just don't hurt anyone.
Yeah, just like,
it was a total non-police state, like hardly any security, just people not being assholes.
Yeah, just don't be
just
an
something
asshole.
something you'll never see in this country.
Nope.
That's what's fucking wrong with this.
People ain't no good. That's what's wrong
People
with
ain't
this
no
country.
fucking good. Where is that tattoo, by the way?
It's over here on my left
Ah,
hand.
dang it.
I've been thinking about getting that one.
We should all get that one.
We
I'm
probably
trying to think where I would put it. I don't want to put it right there. That's prime location for my next one.
Should do it as a banner.
Yeah, exactly.
on
Do
your
like the
chest.
no regrets thing, but do it as people ain't no good.
I don't hate that idea.
Just live the lifestyle,
man.
Robbie.
Would you pay me for that one?
You would own it, Robbie. Yeah, I totally.
Put it-
yeah, man.
Put it
No,
on,
man, that's payment in itself.
put it
man.
on your forehead. That way people know just all right, this guy's
just
got a
This
bad
guy,
attitude.
yeah,
Just
don't
fuck
even
off
talk to that
right
guy
across
at
my
all.
forehead.
You could smile for the rest of your days. Nobody would talk to you.
Face tats are a non-starter for a lot of people, but when it says people ain't no good, they really get the point.
Yeah, right across my throat.
Yes.
I love throat tattoos.
Love
That's what I
it.
need.
I can't imagine getting tattooed on the throat. I wouldn't be able to hold still for very. Give me about 15 minutes. Be like, all right, I need a break.
That feels like some soft, painful skin.
Yep.
An old family friend of mine has them on the bottom of his feet.
That's
Can't
a
decide
bad
if that
idea. That just
Like
wears
on the
off.
arch.
I don't know exactly where there are. He's like this crazy karate taekwondo or something guy, and it's one of them's a tiger and the other one's a dragon, one on each foot, and then some Chinese or something symbols that I don't know what they say. I just know that they're on his feet and that he's a crazy person for doing it.
Seems like it wear off very easily.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that would suck for like the first 2 days. Trying to walk around.
What do you do?
The first 2 days, try like the first when he's getting them. That would suck.
Nah, that wouldn't hurt as bad as 2 days later when he's trying to walk on
aftercare
them.
would suck. I don't
Yeah.
know how you
That'd
would
be
do
awful.
that.
You'd have to take like days off and just sit on the couch.
That sounds totally not worth it. For something that no one will ever see.
No,
When you're getting kicked in the face.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
You see a
I
dragon
see,
right
I see,
before
I
your
see.
eyes go out.
That's kind of
Oh,
funny,
God.
actually. Maybe it is worth it. I take it back. In that particular instance, if you're a kickboxer or
Yeah, he used to do a lot of
taekwondo.
like sparring competitions and stuff like that. I know, like back when he was younger. He's my dad's age now.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, when you get kicked in the face, that's when you see it.
It's
Fair
perfect.
enough.
Then.
to each their own.
I suppose.
So when you're at Le Mans, do you just show up and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to be here for the next 26 hours?
So yeah. So I had a backpack with me. I took an extra change of clothes. I took my toothbrush and mouthwash. It's like, took another jacket because the weather.
It changes.
Threatened rain. Like
Yeah.
it looked really ominous there for a while, but nothing really let loose enough to where cars were coming in and putting on rains or anything like that. But
And that place is big enough that it could be raining on one side and not
absolutely,
on the other.
absolutely, yeah. Mulsanne could be wet and then up at start finish, like
yeah,
nothing.
could be just fine.
Should be
Sunny day.
fine. But I bought a general admission ticket, which everyone has to have. And then if you want a reserve seat, they have what they call tribunes, like these different grandstands, on the front straight, and then the Dunlop Bridge, and there's a few others. I don't even know if that's really necessary unless you are worried about it raining. just walking around to every different section of the track sporadically, you know, at night. Like, we went to Tete Rouge around 2:33 a.m. and there were people passed out like 10 or 15 yards off of the track.
Yes.
Totally asleep. These Porsches are going by, and it fucking hurt. If you did not have ear protection in when those Porsches were going by, you were going to lose some of your hearing.
Fucking Porsche guys, man.
Nice.
It hurt.
It's like Luke McGrew's Viper at Gridlight.
Yeah.
God, that thing's
that
loud.
thing hurt. You said JB's GT4 was.
But that's like a good.
Oh, it's not.
It's
loud.
not like
next to it.
obnoxious loud. It just sounds good.
But I mean, I think people that are automotive enthusiasts, if they were there, like within an hour, you're able to discern what cars are coming.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. You know, I'm not a huge GM or Corvette fan. My stance kind of softened after Le Mans because those Corvettes are the best fucking sounding car in motorsport.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's just annoying how good they are. You know?
GM just needs to make one vehicle. Just
Corvette,
one car.
Just the Corvette.
You can make some trucks, I guess. But
Yeah, trucks are all right.
let's work on the styling. But we could get rid of the other stuff, Camaro included.
Yes.
Just get rid of it.
When the Corvettes and the GTs were going by and their exhaust harmonized, it sounded so awesome. Seriously.
You're like a Ford GT fan, right?
I am.
You're pro Ford GT.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Are you really a Ford GT fan, or are you just doing that because I like Corvettes?
No, I am a Ford GT
all right,
fan.
fair enough. It's worth asking.
It's a reasonable
He's
question.
got multiple books on them.
Dream car would be one of the original GT40s.
Yeah, I was gonna say the new one, or just the
I
in
love
general
the new
the
one.
line.
I love the new one
because I don't.
The second gen,
Really? Because I think the new ones.
I love
think
second gen.
I
I'm
think
with
the new
Boonie
one.
on this one.
they don't have any heritage to them.
No,
There's
they
no
never-
race heritage.
They
Oh.
almost didn't race them at all.
Yeah, okay.
They were kind of
That's fair.
terrible race cars.
They never had any factory support.
Right.
For a team.
Right.
Okay.
I love that in this day and age, where all we build is crossover SUVs and trucks, that Ford went out and built a car that was specifically designed to be a race car from the get go. Be a car that was a world dominator, and that's kind of a crazy thing to do in this economy for car manufacturers, and they did it anyway, and that's cool.
It was, and I'm sad to see that their support is going away.
It had to happen.
I mean, yeah, eventually the platform's getting old enough now that
Well, Deskman doesn't like that.
Right. It's a car. He just wants to build crossovers
And trucks.
that's-
And bigger trucks and
it's so-
bigger excursions and
it's so disappointing to hear
I know.
that. And,
Yeah.
But, you know, the GT, you know, allegedly or maybe Ben Keating might have some support from Chip Ganassi or Ford next year as a privateer, which was, you know, really disappointing to see at the race, them get DQ'd in GTEAM because of 1/10 of a liter of fuel over
Such
capacity.
small stuff all the time.
It was bullshit. And then the penalty he got for spinning his tires, leaving his pit box.
Isn't that what you do?
Yeah, right.
You're supposed to.
Exactly.
I mean,
No, they said, "Oh no, it's
Are we racing here or
it was an
what?
unsafe
Isn't this
exit
America?
from pit box," and they pulled him in on a stop and go penalty, which made it really really close in GTEAM. And then after the race, the stewards, after the scrutineering, it was like, got DQ'd. I'm like, you motherfuckers. And then a Porsche won.
nice. Should have followed the rules. You know how the Germans
Oh,
are.
you!
Is that our rules?
You're gonna be the first one in this fucking trio to get choked, Michael.
You must follow the rules.
Continue as.
Follows the rules.
See my flag behind you? It's bigger
Yeah,
than the
it's
flag
German. It's
bigger,
German.
It's bigger than the flag I gave you earlier.
I didn't look at the flag. Are you talking about that white flag that
I'm
you gave
talking
me?
about that surrender flag.
Yeah, give me a surrender flag.
I brought back from Le Mans.
And the dog escaped. It was not a great afternoon.
That came from the Porsche hospitality group.
Does it say Porsche on it? Is it a Porsche surrender flag?
No, it's an actual Porsche flag.
You put that up when
but it says
breaks down?
it's got the logo on it, doesn't it? I didn't unfurl it, so.
You like put that up when you're broken down on the side of the road, and then
what was the point of that?
Another Porsche comes and gets you.
Point of what?
Point of the flags. Were you supposed to go out there and wave them around or something, or why did they even have them?
My buddy Peter
by the way, I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that he was in the Porsche hospitality
I was
booth, not me.
You
weren't?
I was no.
Oh, I thought you were in there.
No, I was not. Which my friend Peter, who is a staff writer at Auto Week, he was flown there by Porsche to follow and cover Hurley Haywood as the Grand Marshal,
who was a Porsche driver.
Exactly.
Nice.
And he came back. He came back Sunday morning. He's like, "Oh, here, I grabbed this for you." I was like, "Well, I know one person that would appreciate this.
I guess
I'll take it back to him." I was like, "You'll never fucking catch me flying this."
I got a secret club meeting on Saturday. I could bring it.
This came from a hospitality tent.
What kind of pate are you taking to said meeting?
Well, I can't tell you exactly where we're going, but I will tell you at some point we are stopping by a distillery for a private tour.
I might go to the state fair. I don't know.
Wow.
You've changed, man.
I'm going to a winery next month.
Let me know how Napa is.
I will, yes.
Yeah.
Taking the Porsche private jet out there.
Did you make reservations at the French Laundry?
I mean, I didn't make them, but yeah.
Uh-huh.
His assistant did.
The concierge did.
Yeah. It's a PCA perk.
I don't remember what we were talking about. Oh, Auto Week.
Yeah, Auto Week.
Yeah. So Peter was the one that got and brought the flag
and the poster.
The poster came out of the program.
Oh, I got you.
Yep.
Fair enough. So, do you want to talk about the Auto Week article because that was interesting? You were in it.
Yeah. So it was just a coincidence that I was posting on Facebook. I was in Europe and going to the race, and our mutual friend John was like, "Hey, Peter's there at the race too. You should get a hold of him."
Johan? That John or
no? Different,
okay.
No, totally
okay.
different
okay.
John. So I got a hold of Peter, and he was like, "Yeah, I've got a couple of things to do with following Hurley around, and I'll meet you on the infield just past Dunlop Bridge." So Saturday afternoon, went over there and we started palling around and catching up. I hadn't seen him in quite a few years.
So you knew him before this?
I knew him before. I met him almost 20 years ago. He's he's a professional bass player. Like that's his job is.
So he actually plays bass for a living at some level?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty decent
the
level.
Riding is just a side gig?
Yeah.
That sounds like the worst gig of all time. You're telling me that this guy plays bass for a living, and as a side gig, he flies to Le Mans on Porsche's dime to write an article.
That's his side gig.
This poor guy.
Poor guy.
We're doing this wrong.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. So he asked me a few questions while we were there, and just chatting, and the evening, like I said, hanging out at Tete Rouge and listening to these cars go by, and it was like he said, it was like this is the greatest place to be on earth right now at this moment. Nowhere else is better than right here, 10 yards off the track, watching these cars go by. And he was right. And stayed up all night, kept tried to get at every nook and cranny we could on the circuit. Went over, had to do the Ferris wheel just to see everything, and we got on the Ferris wheel, and it was still like pitch black out. And by the time we got off, like daylight had broken, and we're like, how long were we on that Ferris wheel? Like it just seemed surreal, like the sleep depth and everything's starting to kick in, and it's like starting to get hard to stay awake, but I managed to stay awake for the entire race. And
that was my question. Yeah. So
yeah, I stayed there,
pushed through,
didn't leave.
They have a bunch of other stuff going on, or is that like throughout the week, or like during the race, or is it just the race during the race?
Franz Ferdinand played, but I didn't even go over.
Why would you?
He's dead. That's what started that whole war. No, that was a weird. No one's gonna know what that was. Sorry.
You lost me.
Look it up.
So yeah, they had this dead guy up on stage. Didn't even pay attention to that, and just kept drinking coffee all night, and just had a great old time. Definitely, and I'm planning on going back next year and the year after that. And
hey, me too.
Yeah, I think you should come.
I thought the plan was for me to go next year.
It is.
All right.
Did you get any other takers on going next year?
Haven't really put it out that much, but
You gotta put yourself out there, man.
I'd probably
Boonie does not put himself out there.
Probably
Nor does he want
know,
a bunch of randos talking to him. But I thought you had a couple people from the DMVR that were interested.
I think there's some that showed some interest and get more serious about it and put some numbers to it and be like, well, this is what's going to be, and just kind of.
What do you think it'd cost ballpark for somebody to do that if they had? I mean, if you're splitting Airbnbs and kind of trying to be a little bit on the cheap side.
I think definitely under $3,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's not so bad.
What's a ticket?
For airfare and lodging, ticket is
like to get into the event.
To get in,
is that a spendy event or?
It's only $60 to get in.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Not bad at all.
Is that just the day of the race, or is that like a few days leading up to it to go and like?
That's for all practice. Okay. That's qualifying.
Yeah, that's super reasonable.
That's day of. I mean, Friday. There's no racing at all that goes on. They open pit lane at 10 a.m. and you can walk. And they've got, the pit boxes are roped off, but you can stand in front of all the garages, talk to the mechanics, look at all of these cars they're assembling. And I did that. I stood at the Ford garages for 2 hours by myself, just watching them put together these GTs, because I knew this will never happen again. I will never be able to see these cars disassembled like this. And I just sat there and just watched and talked to them and
taking notes.
Just talking yesterday to Jordan and Randy about the Aero, and
this
I had
is how you run a race team
of the diffuser and the flat bottom and the air dam, and I was just like, see, this is how they did it. Here's their connection, and just like, oh wow, that's actually kind of useful. I was like, I know. It was
That's bizarre to think about, though, because where else would you do that on any scale? Because I went to Brands Hatch when I was went from London to Brands Hatch when I was traveling for work for a while. And it's like they run as many frickin' races as they can run.
Right.
Like they'll run GT, and then they ran like Formula 4 or something like that. And then they ran, 2 other series in addition to just the Blancpain racing,
right.
So they're like trying to run as many people through there as possible so that they can keep that track hot as long as possible, and et cetera, et cetera. And so to think about, they're not utilizing the track, they're not trying to make a spectacle, they're letting you walk the paddock and look at these really exceptional cars. It's a bizarre idea.
And the paddock was open as well. I mean, you could not go. The only place you really couldn't go on Friday was in the garage. But the paddock,
which makes sense.
Everything else in the back, like it was all access, everywhere. And
but try to do that at a Formula One event.
Yeah, good luck.
Nope.
Yeah, we did get to do that at IndyCar. Did you do that?
But you had a hookup.
I just had regular tickets.
Yeah, I did have a hookup actually, but we did get to walk it.
I don't think
not everybody, but
get to do that.
Yeah, true.
I'm sure there's a number.
There's a number of people that they probably want through.
Yeah, you can.
No, I mean, to do it. I'm sure
it's actually not that
yeah.
bad. You can get the what was it called?
Was there a VIP package or something like that to do it?
It wasn't that bad. Because the regular tickets were like $20.
NHRA is kind of that way though. Like you can.
That's true.
You just walk into the pit area, and they have the car roped off a little bit, but you can stand right next to it and get your face blown off by nitro fumes when they fire off those motors, and
one of the guys from DMVR, Patrick, went up to IMSA this past weekend in Road America, and it seemed like it was the same way. Like he was getting way up close, and with the cars before.
I think that's important.
Yeah,
from a fan thing, or like people who are just kind of into it, like, oh, this seems like something fun to do on a weekend. I'll take my kid up there, and like the ability to get up close to those cars, especially for a younger kid, that's like life changing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the difference between this kid sitting on the couch playing video games or wanting to go racing.
Yeah, when you're up there and you're actually seeing the cars in person and seeing the drivers and the mechanics.
Getting to talk to those people and realizing
Absolutely.
they're just people.
Yeah.
You know, that you could do that too.
Yep. And it was.
Any other parting thoughts about Le Mans or Auto Week? Just a good experience overall.
Yeah.
Try to do it.
Try to do
If
it.
you can.
I kind of fucked up. I should have stayed another week in Europe because
It's utopia.
well, that 24-hour Nürburgring was the next week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That was a race too.
Yes, it was.
I saw a couple of highlights of that. There's some passing in the grass and all kinds of
Yep.
crazy
Yeah, I
shit.
did see that. That was crazy.
motherfucker in that Porsche.
Jesus.
Half off.
Fuck yeah.
180 miles an
Fuck.
hour, 2 wheels in the grass doing
Oh
passing.
my god.
Get out of here.
That was one of the best passes of the year.
Whoa.
Right there.
I remember.
Ballsy.
I wish I could remember this race. It's gone in the pantheon of race history. But it was something when I was a little kid and I was watching it on TV, and it was a GT race or a prototype race, and a guy passed on a slip road. It was the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. He's coming around and he could see that slip road coming, and he was moving at a fast enough clip that he just moved over and he hit it and he moved back in front of that car, and I was like, that was the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen anybody do. And that was probably, that might have been 20 years ago. And I still remember that.
Yeah.
It was, and I will never find it.
Right.
But it was.
I hope somebody does find it.
I hope somebody finds it too, because it was the coolest thing I've ever, literally the coolest thing I've ever seen. Somebody do in a race,
Put Dustin on it, he'll find it.
or Daniel.
Daniel will find
Daniel
it.
might be able to find it.
He's got a new job.
Even if
He's got
if
less,
they find it,
like,
somebody else has
boring free
probably
time.
done it at some point, and I'll go, yeah, that's it. I don't
Yeah,
know, it looks
count it.
close enough. Yep. GT or prototype, I don't remember, and it might have been a prototype passing a GT car, which is probably what it was, but it was pretty cool.
You don't know that when you're 5 years old.
I had no idea what
They're
was
just
going
cars on racetracks, right?
I
They're
just
all
know it was
fast.
in Europe, and that's when I think that was like a defining moment of European cars are cooler, or European racing's cooler than NASCAR.
Well, I mean, let's compare apples to apples here.
Yeah, those ham-fisted rednecks have nothing on Lewis Hamilton.
That's a legit statement.
Don't they always do that? They always do that swap, and all the marketing people are like, this will be great, it's good publicity, and then the NASCAR.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. Who did it this year with Fernando?
I can't remember now.
We even talked about it because he actually did.
Oh,
pretty
Jimmy
well.
Johnson. They did
Yeah.
it.
Oh, Jimmy
Yeah, Jimmy
Johnson. But
Johnson
he's
as well.
he's raced. Which team has he raced with? He's raced with Cadillac, hasn't he?
Jeff Gordon did with
Jeff
Cadillac.
Gordon
Was it
did with
Jeff Gordon?
Cadillac,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought Jimmy
And
Johnson
did pretty
did too,
well.
but-
Some of those
Yeah.
NASCAR drivers are very good
good
road
drivers.
course drivers
Yep.
too. Like, and that's kind of the interesting thing about NASCAR's road course weekends is that gives a chance for some of those like mid-pack guys to actually be competitive because they are really good drivers. They just don't have the funding to be competitive on an oval.
Right.
But if I was like Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson level of driver, and like I would follow the money. I probably wouldn't go to Indy.
I think that at some point you have the money to the point where it really doesn't matter, and now you just want to fill out your trophy case. You know,
So
Like-
you'll go
like-
where you can win.
well you'll
Where
go
you haven't won yet.
you'll go to
Oh, I
win
see.
like the hallowed races. You know,
Right?
like
Yeah,
the
you'll
big
do the
ones.
Indy 500. And
Do the
you'll
Indy 500 and you do a 24-hour race at Daytona and stuff like that because that's bucket list shit for anybody.
Sure.
I think I'd avoid NASCAR because I don't feel like I'd be welcome down south too much.
There was a team based out of Colorado
I
for a
don't-
while.
I
You'd have
don't-
been fine.
No, I don't think they would like me.
Do you own any shit kickers?
Not anymore.
Would you like to tell us your boot brand preference to see if that pisses anybody
Do
off?
not have any. Nope.
No
You're
boots.
not a safety toe or a safety shoe boot wearing
Red Wing
Oh, Red Wing.
area.
Red
Yeah,
Wings.
Red Wing. Yeah,
Red
Red
Wing
Wing
for
for
life.
sure.
Red Wing with the metal.
Thank God. I
towers,
feel
so-
like that's the only thing we agree on. Are you Red Wing?
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you okay?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
all
absolutely.
four of us are
Yeah.
Red Wing is okay.
Pro
all
Red
right,
Wing.
thank
But here's
God.
the thing: I can't find any narrow enough anymore. They quit making them in a size B.
Oh, you have like a real
Really?
narrow-
Oh yeah.
You can't get a
You
size.
have dainty feet, don't you?
He's got long
And
feet.
really like long skis.
You can't get a B width Red Wing shoe anymore.
No, not in a size 11 and a half or
What
12.
the fuck, Red Wing?
You know, and I was like, I'm willing to spend $300 for these. Nope, don't make the B.
Can you get like an insole that'll make it work or
I doubt it.
Spend another $300
It's not
on
the
some
same.
fucking insole.
Now you're gonna have to
Doesn't
get
quite
custom made
work right.
boots. Or some
But if you
shit.
ask Max, I don't do any work anymore. I just sit in my office.
Yeah,
That's
so-
your job. If you are out working, you're not getting more work to keep him working. That's how that works.
See, you need to talk to Max. Let him know what's up.
I'm staying out of that.
Yeah, why you got to
one.
make enemies everywhere you go?
There you go, Adam.
I'm not making enemies. I'm trying to make friends here. I'm justifying
He's-
his.
Shits
Yeah.
on Max and it's like, nah, I'm making friends here.
He's trying to push
Poor
that
guy.
shit on me.
Yeah, you're just trying
This
to make me out
excellent
to be the
welder
bad
that's going
guy.
to do excellent work all the time. And you're just going to shit on him.
You're just trying to make me the bad guy here, as usual.
Yeah.
Robbie doesn't like to be hated. You know that.
I don't like.
He
thumbs
loses
down,
sleep
man.
over
I
it.
can't. I can't do the thumbs down. You guys got to thumbs up.
You gotta bring
Should
Robbie
start
up,
going
not bring
through
him
it.
You don't have
down.
to talk to me about it. Just the thumbs
I'm
up.
gonna start going through and thumbs downing all our
Hey,
YouTube
do it.
videos.
there's a reason only one person ever gets invited to watching F1 with Boonie. It's just Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
fine.
our thing.
It's fine. You guys can
I can't
have your
hate- I
thing.
can't hate on him.
Sure, you can.
You
No,
could.
It's pretty easy.
He
Never
makes it
done
so
anything
easy.
to make me dislike you.
Just
That's
wait.
true. The day will come.
Don't tell him though, because it'll ruin him.
What?
Other than he won't let me help you when I want to help you.
You can help me tomorrow.
Boonie's got more work than he knows
I
what
know
to
he
do
does.
with right
Not
now.
a
though.
lot of people take
I'm
off
unavoidably
Thursdays to help.
detained tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not the mechanic that you want.
You just my gopher.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Hand him
go
stuff.
for that wrench over there.
Get that wrench I just threw across the shop.
Are you gonna explain it, or are we gonna wait till next week?
Fuck
You're
it,
gonna
we can talk about
leave
it.
people in this. In
Yeah.
I think we should just leave him waiting.
No.
It's called build up.
It's up to Robbie. It's whatever he wants to do. It's his car, truck.
There's so many
whatever.
things to talk about with Boonie, though.
I know.
We had all day. It's only been what, an hour? Not even.
This is a short podcast
Yeah, it's
so
fine.
far because we don't have news. We don't have anything put together.
To heck
What has
with
this
it.
been?
I had-
20 minutes?
I had like a really good opener idea, and then I ran out of time. It didn't happen.
Next time.
So we'll have to come back here, and because it'll be fine, or it would be fun no matter what. But it's really good with.
We should do.
See, this is disappointing me that we're not having Adam's opener presented
sorry.
by Factor Fabrication.
I'm
Here
sorry.
at
Yeah, Factor
Fabrication.
What we should do, we need to come up with like another game and do it with Boonie. Like when we would do a game ourselves,
Yeah.
we need to do
Yeah,
it.
like when
I
Ian-
want to do a game, or I want to do like
Yeah.
a focused topic, or
We'll do that sometime.
or stack rank, or
Or when
We
Ian
need to-
came on and did the game.
And we
And we don't
failed
know anything about
miserably.
anything?
Oh, shit
or
about
we can do a
anything.
debate: Beretta versus Cavalier.
That pee on the tire thing that's haunted me ever
I'm
since.
pro both. It's fine.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
passenger tire thing.
Oh, I still remember
That
it.
haunts me to this day. It's out there on the internet for people to listen to. It's way back in there, but I was.
It's an old one.
Dude, I don't think we did like less than 50%.
We did really, really bad.
so bad.
It was graded on a curve. It's fine.
Some of those questions
If
we,
we all
should
do
have
bad,
known.
then we all
too.
do good.
Absolutely should have known.
I don't want to talk about
Or
it.
then like Robbie got a Volkswagen question. Both you and I knew it.
Yeah, he did-
Robbie
he did that on
You know, it was
purpose,
like
though.
that kind of shit.
Yeah, I did it on purpose. Totally. Definitely knew the answer. I just pretended I didn't know.
He didn't want to be
he's
pegged
got
as a
an image to
Volkswagen
keep
guy.
up.
All right, Robbie, you decide if you want to do it
Yeah,
or
we can
not.
talk about
No,
it.
okay.
So I went to the SCCA meeting last night, and I get to Smoky D's. It's about a half-hour drive. Not quite.
Were you there, Booney?
Yes, I
Yeah, he
was.
was.
Okay.
Kind
should
of
have
has
played-
to be.
Yeah,
Is that true?
He's on
I'm
the board.
solo
You do
director.
kind of have to be there.
Yeah.
But anyways, I get there, and I get to the stop sign right by the strip club over there.
Nice.
And I noticed
So
that
you're leaving the strip club. Continue.
so I noticed my oil pressure gets real low. I'm like, God damn it! I just replaced that sensor because
They do have a problem with this.
I was convinced that sensor was bad. And it was finicky, but it seemed to be running all right. And the engine sounded great. Didn't think anything of it. So I eat, leave. By the time I get home to the stop sign,
You ate at the strip club?
Nice. The buffet
yeah, they have
The
like,
buffet?
They,
The buffet?
They have the best wings on Tuesdays.
on the buffet.
Really?
50
Because I heard you were a thigh man.
More of a breast man, really.
Low hanging fruit there, Robert.
I take what I can get.
Were they?
That's why I was at the strip club.
It was a Tuesday night.
Tuesday
You're already
night
get the
strip club is pretty low
low-hanging
hanging.
That's talent
Keep
on
digging
Tuesday
it.
for
Keep
you.
digging.
Yes, it was the B squad.
Who listens to this? Your family?
My mom.
Hello,
Continue.
This is Verhout.
Continue.
Anyway, so
Call me back.
she won't. Damn it. So I left, so then drive all the way back. So it's interstate driving the whole way, and oil pressure's good. I mean, it's a little low, but it's good. It's consistent. We're at, like high 30s, mid 30s. It's like, okay, keep an eye on it. Come to the stop sign right by my place, 0. Dropped to fucking 0.
Sweet.
And it started ticking.
Also sweet.
2 more miles home.
Was it ticking the whole time, or only when it didn't have oil pressure?
Only once it hit oil pressure, then it
Would come
continued,
back.
Then it continued ticking. So I collapsed the lifter and looked into it, and it's the oil. I guess we'll figure out when I completely disassemble it tomorrow. But the oil pressure regulator apparently fails on that, and if you don't catch fast enough, it completely fucks your engine. So I'm hoping I caught it fast enough that I just collapsed the lifter and have to replace an oil pump.
I don't know how I've never heard of that before.
That's new to me too.
I never knew that was like a known
This
fault.
is going to be one of those Mobile One things where everybody
Everybody knows
knew
except
it.
us, apparently.
Like, come on,
I didn't.
everybody.
Why do you
knows.
have an oil pressure regulator at all? Why aren't you just why not use the oil pressure at the pump and that's your oil pressure?
Apparently, if it gets too high, it cycles back through and creates an open or closed loop, so then it doesn't over pressurize your engine. But when that little solenoid fails and stays open, when you drop it down to such a low RPM, so like it's like
not
600
creating any pressure.
RPM, there's no pressure.
That's why LSs create consistent oil pressure all the time.
Yeah,
as he
'cause
was saying that.
that thing that I'm driving right now, it's got a 6-liter in it, and it makes 40 psi.
No matter what, all the time. Yeah, it never made any sense because the LT1 does not do that, and the
Right.
old school small blocks do not do that.
Right, and my S10 didn't do that.
And mine was doing that up until like 2 weeks ago, and that should have been a big sign right there. I'm like, you know what, my oil pressure was.
So you
always
did
at-
have indication this failed.
It was always at 40, and I replaced the sensor thinking that was finicky, and then now I've collapsed the lifter and gotta replace that oil pump. So. We'll see if that's all it is. We'll see if I'm lucky or not.
Cars are stupid.
I fucking hate cars.
We should have done a
This is a stupid
podcast
hobby.
about
This is so
collecting pre-World
I liked
War II coins.
I liked video games. That was fun. It wasn't near as expensive.
Video games were good.
Skating. We thought it was expensive at the time.
That's nothing, man.
not.
It's so cheap.
Who has $500 for skates?
I thought being
That sounds great right
You
now.
can't touch anything
Yeah.
for $500
Yeah.
on a race car.
I thought being in a band was expensive.
No.
Fuck music.
Dude, being in a band sounds like,
So, like-
fun now.
the Z.
And so cheap.
This is the first time I've actually seen the clown shoe up close since you guys converted it, and I thought you kind of just put a cage in it, went racing. Like, no, you guys threw some fucking money in that car.
There's
That's a damn race car.
it is a damn race car.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We were just saying that last night. It's like this fucking race car. But there was a lot of effort.
Yeah, no, I
By
knew you guys
everyone.
put a lot of
Put
effort
into
into
it
it, but
this
I didn't,
past
you know,
year.
I'd never seen it up close. I didn't know where it was at. Like, there's a lot of shit in that car,
When we took it
and
up
it
to
all
get
looks really good too.
when
You
we
guys
took
did
it
a
up to
great
get
job.
it dynoed at Skunk
Yeah,
River
yeah, yeah.
Restoration, even Steve Myers was
Who like lives? He is race car.
yeah. He even told Jordan and Josh like, this is a really nice car.
It is
You
a
guys did
really
a
nice
nice
car.
job on
You
it.
guys
It
should be
was, yeah.
proud of
You
that
get
car.
you get a compliment from Steve Myers like that.
Yeah.
You put that.
Because
feather
Steve
to
Myers
step.
can do whatever the
Steve
fuck
Myers
he
owes
wants.
an NPO1. I mean, Steve
Yeah,
Myers
right.
is race car
He is the most race car guy around here.
Yes,
for sure.
absolutely.
He is the
Yeah.
foremost authority on British cars, as it turns out.
Yep.
Yeah, but race cars.
But race cars in general.
because
Yes.
he's got he had a Mustang that he was running for a while,
Hmm.
a GT350.
Wait, what's the MPO1? That's not the Mosler, is it?
No, the MPO1 is that little prototype that
Prototype
NASA
looking.
came up with a class just
oh,
for.
right,
Yep.
right,
It's got like
right,
a little
right. Yep.
Mazda
So-
Yeah,
MCR
it's the
motor
Mazda.
in it.
Was that even his Mosler that he had? That
I
might
think
not
so.
have been
I thought
his.
it was.
Was
I
it
don't
his?
know if
thought
that was
so.
his or not.
Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter.
I
It's
know
still
that-
in there.
You know, he's had like McLarens and shit like that through that shop. I don't know if they were his or just came through there or what, but I've seen him parked there, and he literally has cars on a shelf.
He literally have shelves of cars.
It's wonderful.
Like,
A lifetime of work.
We should do like a tour through that place.
we should go
sometime.
hang out with
Yeah,
Steve in
yeah.
general.
If you'd
Because
want-
he listened at least a couple times.
Yeah.
Well, if you
Yeah.
show up to the TT Dyno Day, it's open.
I know.
Well,
But,
I know,
Like,
but
we
we
want
should just go
private.
hang
We're
out with
special,
Steve. Yeah.
Robbie.
Well, there's not a lot of people.
Does Steve
at
have a
TT Dyno
media
Day.
pass
Be
that we
special.
apply for?
Huh?
Steve have a media pass? That
I think we
apply
just,
for?
like,
call him.
Just call him.
Just
Let's have our people call his people.
Yeah,
and we'll
let's
get
do
that,
that.
set up. Good. I mean, I'm not going to do it.
maybe
You're not
maybe
going to do it.
maybe
but-
do the Kanga Motorsports mobile studio.
take the table with us. Drag the table all the way up there. All right. Anyway, so you guys, you were kind of talking about this earlier, and the SCCA meeting's a good tie-in. We need to talk about the benefit autocross, the charity autocross, whatever we want to call it.
Yep. So it'll be. I guess when this podcast comes out, it'll be the following weekend
Yep.
over at RPM, MAM, whatever you want to call it. we'll be doing a
It's
charity.
MAM in my heart forever.
Yeah, I understand.
I've gotten changed to RPM,
RPM
but
stuff
I always
now.
liked man.
You were really against change.
But it felt
early
like
on.
really contrived to call it like you did that on
RPM.
you
Yeah.
did that on
Well,
purpose.
Hastings is MPH.
Yeah, that's not great either.
Motorsports Park Hastings.
That's but it shouldn't be. It should be Hastings Motorsports Park.
I know, but
H-
but they didn't do it. They did it that way so it could be MPH.
Anyway, it's like the government when they do
It's
all
a
their
pun.
stupid.
Yeah.
It is kind of a pun,
It's a
isn't it?
pun.
It's
It's
not good.
absolutely a pun.
Anyway, so ma'am,
Yep. So we'll be doing SCCA autocross over there 2 days, Saturday and Sunday both, and be a charity event. You know, we'll cover our costs, and then all the funds that are left over, you know, will be donated to the track to help them with the cleanup and rebuilding.
how much can you tell? People should go look for the map first of all because it is like a track sprint.
Yep.
and it's really interesting.
It looks fun.
Um,
There's actually gonna be like gates and slaloms they're putting on there though.
Yeah.
Is that what
yeah,
how I read
few
that?
cones here and there.
We'll be doing a few cones to, you know, we don't want to get
Kind of manage speeds a little bit.
Exactly.
should be still a ton of fun though. I mean, it
I
looks like
think
fun.
I think if anything, it makes it better because now it's more than just
Sprinting to the end of the first because
Yeah.
or to turn one because somebody brought their Corvette and now
Right.
they're in the top five
They've got a
because
ZR1 here. It makes 800 billion horsepower or whatever.
Yeah.
can't turn and anyway. But so how much can you tell us about the status of that track? Do you know much about it? Because it's like in the dark.
I really can't. I don't know. I don't know at all, really.
Because I think people really want to know. It'd be nice, you know, they can do whatever they want. It's their racetrack, but
Yeah.
I think people care enough that they want to know if they can help or if there's, you know, when we can come back and start racing and start contributing and all that. So I think that's been a challenge for some people, which, you know, I think that guy's house flooded too. Does he live nearby there?
Last I knew, there was a house nearby. I don't know if the track manager does live in it or used to live in it. I know at some point that was the track manager's house. I don't know if it still is.
Yeah, so I know that they have more pressing issues than feeding our curiosity, but
Well, it's going to be a real shame because other than, you know, Newton, the
Which isn't the
Speedway,
thing.
which is difficult, really
it's-
difficult.
Yeah, it's
Unless you're a Corvette club, it's basically not a thing.
Is it the cost? Is that the problem with Newton?
It's become cost prohibitive.
Management's not real flexible either, from what I understand.
He can't speak
We'll
to
move
that.
on.
It's just difficult.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
get it.
difficult, and
I get
having
it.
an actual
It's owned by
a
NASCAR.
bigger
That's the problem.
and having a bigger, you know, road course to run at RPM, you know,
Yeah, it's
we
important
really,
to
we can't afford to lose
to our car community here.
Yeah.
We're struggling to keep autocross alive because we keep losing locations.
Exactly.
And if we lost that track too, then we're screwed.
That would be a
We're
big
pretty
hit for
screwed.
DNVR as far as the road racing goes, and be able to host
Oh,
events like that.
Yeah, mid div, and
Right.
I mean, it sucks that fell off the calendar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because it's a
incredible.
great,
it's a really fun track to be
place for you guys to travel to, or me if I do it
It's
next
the
year because
easiest one
it's
for us to get to.
Exactly.
it's easy.
Other
It-
than, you know, and if we lose that, damn man,
Gateway,
you're
Topeka.
looking at Gateway.
And those are all
Topeka,
4 to 6 or
Hastings.
8 hour drives.
And now
Sucks.
Hastings is, you know,
It's for
I
sale.
don't know, it's coming up for
Or
sale.
something, however
or
that's
Yeah.
blocking
out.
the sale because some of the condo owners are
Yeah, there's
protesting the sale. I don't know what's going
it's a
on.
mess, man. That track may not be a thing in a year either.
That which is unfortunate. You know, I know it's out there in the middle of Nebraska, but
Somebody needs to work on, and it would take a lot of money, and I think someone would kind of have to do it out of the kindness of their own heart and some donations, and probably still at a loss. But they've started doing those autocross / drift configuration tracks. Have you seen those?
no.
They're flat. I'll show you a photo one.
You talking about like one up in North Dakota?
Yep. Yeah.
They do
exactly.
them like at drag strips. They'll
Yeah.
build like a figure 8 almost skid pad, and
It's
then
kind
you
of like
can
a series of figure eights put together.
Nice.
and then you can just build different courses off of it. You can run drift days, you can run autocrosses.
That's a great
And
idea.
they're side by side with the drag strip, so those things can be ran simultaneously.
And they are relatively cheap. I mean, I'm sure they're not cheap, but
Right, but just pouring a small patch of cement is drastically different than building a 3-mile road course.
yep. Yeah. And they're not, it's not a huge expanse of concrete like you would think about for autocross. It's got built-in corners and crossovers and stuff like that.
Right.
So really, you just have to put some cones on it, decide how
Yep.
you want to run it that way for the weekend. You could change it, and then the drift guys get out there and they can do all kinds of different linked together corners, and it's relatively slow speed, so it's safer, and
Second, maybe third gear drifting.
it's pretty cool. People seem to really, really like it. It's a new idea that's come up in the last couple of years. I'm a big proponent of it. I've not run on one, but as far as cost per use, it seems really like a good ratio.
Right.
So I don't know.
Even if it's not any faster than like parking lot drifting, it still feels different.
Yeah, you've still got like visible clipping point,
Right.
physical clipping points,
Yeah.
as opposed to cones that somebody, it happens. Everybody does it. You blow through a cone and now it's gone, and so now you're just kind of drifting around in a parking lot.
Right.
Whereas there you've got physical,
Track
targets
limits.
and things like that you can kind of look at, and then you can change configurations and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't know. Someone would have to give up some land and, like I said, probably fork
think-
over the money.
I think drag strips are what we need to focus on that for.
But you were talking about
Usually
that drag
have
strip. What was that article you sent us yesterday or the day before?
That wasn't a drag. That was that racetrack in South Dakota that was going to do that big $200,000 to enter race,
Yeah.
Oh, they
that-
backed out of that.
and they shut that down for lack of entry.
What?
That
It was
news
200
story we
grand
did.
to enter.
Winner
The
gets the
winner
track.
took the track.
Because they were having trouble selling the track.
But they only got 3 people interested.
So basically, they were going to raffle it around a race.
Sprint car race.
If you win, you get the track.
Damn.
It's
See, I
a
thought people
really,
would buy into
really
it. They
nice
sure as shit
facility. It's a really nice facility.
Yeah, they just poured a boatload of money into it too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, racetracks are not in a good way right now. What was that drag track that they were building? Was it near your dad?
Yeah, that was where I went and drag race with my dad this weekend.
Oh, that okay. They got that
Yep,
done.
it's
All right.
20
My
minutes
bad.
from my dad's house.
That's nice for him.
I've talked to him about
Works out good.
the because he knows a lot of the people that run the track, and I think that was even like mildly crowd funded, and I think that my parents donated some of the money towards it, not like a huge sum, but just a little bit. They like a founding members club or whatever you want to call it. And I talked to him a little bit about the idea of building that skid pad style thing, and I think it mostly just would require somebody more local than us to go to that group of people and show them that there's interest and prove that it could be profitable and pay for itself, and it might be something they could do.
They might need some time to feel at home in that facility before they, want to make any changes.
Yeah.
But who knows? That's something.
Well, I
to
mean,
keep
I was
in
there this
mind.
weekend. They had 30 or 40 cars there, no problem, on a random Saturday. It wasn't even like a special event. It was just a Saturday
Guys
race.
running.
We started at
racing.
9. They were done by 4. I mean, they just rolled right through them.
I bet they're probably getting lots of runs in.
Yeah. They did 3 time trials, and you barely had enough time to park the car and take a breather before they
again.
were calling you back to the staging lanes to do it again.
So if people are interested in that, they should seek it out. Go to the DMVR Facebook page. Is it a
Yep.
page or a group? Do you know?
It's only a group.
It's a group.
It's a group.
Yep.
So
Or you can check it out, motorsportsreg.com.
here's the
Search
challenge I
DMVR.
have to people for this. I know there was a fundraiser style event just like what we're doing on the road course, but on the drag strip portion of that facility, and they made $2,500, and I want to see that topped.
That would be nice. to see
Because
that top.
everyone talks about how that drag strip is what keeps that place afloat, and I think it would be really cool if the road course people could come in and show that it's just as important to us as it is to the drag strip, and that we are just as important to that facility as the drag racers, and prove that by putting money in their pocket to help fix the facility.
For sure.
I agree. So anyone,
$2,500 doesn't seem like that huge of a number to meet. I mean, it's not a small number, but it's not a huge number either. And I think it'd be really awesome if we could do that.
I think we got 100 people there. We'd be really knocking on the door of being able to offer that money
Right.
and any clips
It'd be awesome.
that amount of
What's
the drag
the
strip.
entry fee? Is it the same, or is it more?
No, it'll be the same. for
Yeah, that's a hell
the
of a-
weekend and single day and member and non-member.
That's a hell of a deal for that type of event, versus an autocross.
Autocross pricing
Yeah, for a track sprint.
Yep.
right.
Right.
It's awesome.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
And, we'll see how many runs we get each day, and we're aiming for at least 6 and hopefully more than that.
Right.
Just depends on,
How many people can stay
Don't
on
crash your
track
shit.
and don't crash your shit. Exactly.
yeah, change over, make that go fast, get in your car. It's like, let's
Yep.
do this.
Yep.
Make heats, back and forth and be a
Follow
fun
the
day.
grid master. Do what he tells you.
Are you the grid master?
I am.
He is king of
He is
grid.
the Adam
I'll
Jabay.
I'll blow a whistle at a motherfucker.
He is the Adam Jabay of autocross.
Yes.
I love it. Love wearing my referee jersey out there.
I saw that when I showed up at the one event at Iowa's Event Center. I was like, oh, man, that's so perfect. That's so good.
So let's talk about the WRL car.
Let's talk about
You have some
WRL.
questions.
Yeah, I have a few questions.
Do you want to talk about what happened to the WRL car before we proceed? You want to give some backstory?
Actually, I have a pre-question that I think would be good before the WRL.
All right,
car.
shoot.
So, obviously, you're a BMW fan.
I'm a fanboy.
Is that true?
Right.
Really?
This I
I don't know. Like it's just a mild thing. I mean, I
He
think
doesn't
we could,
like BMWs a
I
lot.
think we could probably sway him to something else if we really, really put our minds to it.
There are better cars
But he
out there. is what
seems to
you're saying.
be.
Pretty sure.
I mean, I would.
Pretty sure you're wrong there.
I'm not going to suggest that there's better cars as long as he's within chokehold distance of me.
I'm debating a tattoo.
But from this distance, what you're saying is
I'm not
Audi
saying
makes a
any-
better car.
Oh
Is that
God,
what you're saying?
I would never suggest such an atrocious statement. And I also know you kind of touched on it when we had you on the show previously, and I was absent. That motorsports is kind of a new participation of motorsports is kind of new for you.
Absolutely.
Have cars been a thing for your entire life, or is this a pretty new? Because I
guess-
know you did a lot of music stuff when you were younger.
Right.
Did a lot of traveling for that. It looked like, and so are cars kind of new to you?
Okay, so my dad, we always had NASCAR on.
Yeah.
On Sundays.
Yep.
Like we'd have Sunday dinner. My uncle would come out, and the race if there was a race on, the race was always on.
Okay.
And when I was younger, when Emerson Fittipaldi, Rick Mears, like when those guys were driving an Indy, I was watching IndyCar a lot.
Right.
I was maybe 8, 9,
I think
10
the
years
Indy
old.
500 was almost like the Super Bowl 30 years ago. Like even if you don't watch Indy, you watched the 500.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not that way anymore.
No, unfortunately, it's not.
It is what it is.
But as far as motorsports goes, that was kind of the
Okay.
exposure that I had. My uncle was into, he's always been into cars, into Corvettes. He did a truck. As far as restoration, it was more of just the car show scene. He's a body man who works for Axo Nobel Sickens as a paint rep now. Flies all over the country, around the world. Like he's been to McLaren to headquarters because they use their paint. Like pretty fucking cool
All right,
shit.
Dang.
Yeah. But never really up until I didn't even realize getting involved in grassroots racing was even an option until
Yeah.
Josh took me to an autocross, just over 2 years ago down to Oski, and we drove his Fiesta and
Ruined your life. I
fucking
get it.
ruined my life.
Yeah. So then, if you grew up in what was kind of the typical American household of that time, and you had family members that were into more muscle cars and stuff like that,
Right.
I'm not suggesting that it was the wrong decision, but why BMW?
I liked the E30
Okay.
growing up.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, maybe it was I don't know. I don't know why it was. It's always been an iconic, classic looking touring car. It's just like, man. And the first time I went over to Switzerland, my buddy's friend had an E30, and we drove up into the Alps in his E30, listening to the Jackie
geez.
Brown soundtrack. And that's fucking.
Stuck in your memory.
I know that sounds as pretentious as a lot of shit that comes out of Porsche owners' mouths,
Yes.
but god damn, I was like, I've got to have one of these.
Well, there's
someday.
usually that one, if someone's really brand diehard, there's usually a reason. And I just kind of wondered why.
So it was that, and then the first autocross I went to that I met Randy, and I saw the current WRL car that we're driving now. It was
Yep.
his car. It was his solo car.
Yep.
And I'd always loved the Z3s, but just seeing that thing sitting there when I got to the event that morning, and just looking at it and just, fuck, look at that car. What a beautiful automobile. And I told Josh afterwards, I was like, I think I'm going to find a coupe. He was like, well, it's not really that popular of a platform to, be driving. Just
You would
You
say
know what,
that.
Josh?
He's not wrong.
You just leave your negative attitude
I'm like,
out of this.
I don't care.
Listen, I don't need the opinion of a Corvette owner.
Says an MR2 owner. I mean,
Yeah, true,
come on.
True.
And the irony is now Josh is on the race team driving that very same
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, exactly.
Careful what you wish for.
And, we're doing fairly well.
Josh is annoyingly fast,
Josh is very fast.
so annoyingly
And
fast.
he's even said that this is the best car I've ever been in, on track driving.
Ask all the good guys, All American Sunday guys, how annoyingly
Right,
fast
they hate
Josh
him.
is. Mr. 3 years in a row.
And
He
a
actually
Fiesta.
did. He did in a Corvette. This
Oh, he
year.
did.
did
Well,
that
they
this
don't
year.
hate him as
Yeah.
much this year, but still annoyed, I'm sure.
Yeah, but driving that Fiesta, I'm sure he pissed off a lot.
Dude, the first year when I was there with my Omni, the first year he won that, and we were driving through they called the parade of winners or parade of champions or whatever and so they have all the show winners and the pro class autocross winner, and then here's Josh in his daily driver Fiesta that's covered in road grime because all he does is drive it down the interstate from his house to work and back again. And literally people are couldn't even wash that thing. Dude, I didn't know this was gonna happen. And then
Why'd you guys drive so slowly?
they give him the prize package, and it's $100 off a set of Krager wheels. He's like, what am I gonna do with this? And I'm like, sell it for $75 on
put it on
Craigslist.
eBay or
Oh,
something.
he got a
Like-
set of BF Goodrich tires?
Yeah, no, he got it. I mean, there's a bunch of good stuff in there.
Oh, there was a bunch.
But then
Free
there's a bunch of
Optima battery.
random bullshit in there too. Speedway certificates. I'll bet that's where a lot of his safety gear came from.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably over $1,000 in.
Yeah,
price
now he's
money
done it
there.
3 years in a row, bastard. So
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
He's
though.
going to need it with all that, all his vet add-on shit. And,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of wondered because, usually when someone's that hardcore into a specific brand where they'll argue it to the day they die, there's usually a good reason for it.
I don't
so-
know. Well, just getting into the car after I bought it and, delving into the history of BMW, it's, when I get into something, I get extreme.
Oh, really? Interesting. Would have never guessed.
It's odd how when we get into this hobby, it forms some sort of weird impression on us and our taste. Like the first thing that we're exposed to, or that first thing that makes a serious impression on us,
Yeah.
versus are there better things than BMWs? Sure. I mean, you can argue yes or no or whatever, but for whatever reason, you were impressioned by BMW, and so now that's going to be stuck in your psyche, kind of in the back of your mind for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
That
my
that's-
kids as
it's-
well.
Yeah, that's right, because now your kids are going to be exposed to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's going to be that's how they're going to grow up as well, is that they're going to have that
And I got
perception
my
of BMW.
kids, my kids watch Formula One with me.
Yeah.
They drive, if we driving around, they can identify cars by the emblems and everything, and they play this games oh, I call that, and and Sturm will be like, oh, that's just a Subaru. He was like, you can have
Get that shit out.
That's right. I don't need those fucking Subarus
I
around
think
here.
that I am a shining example of just because you grow up with it doesn't mean you love it. Because
Yep.
most of my automotive decisions are incredible disappointments to my father.
I'm sure my father
Yeah.
was probably wasn't too into my BMW fetish.
It's been really hard for me not to be a GM guy. I'm finally there. I really don't like GM.
You struggled against it.
Well, I owned one, so I had to keep the
The facade.
the facade up so that somebody, you got to push those prices up somehow. That's how speculation works. But
Now you're
yeah,
in,
it's
the speculation corner.
you're right.
so.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, in my opinion, the only good thing that GM makes is the Corvette, and for some reason, it's
And the
in a
LS.
completely different league than the other things that they make, and I don't understand that.
Because they put so much emphasis into it.
Did you watch the reveal of the C8
No.
that night?
Couldn't be
I
bothered.
did. I was actually interested.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking to Ian Mayberry, one of the guys from WRL.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with him. He's like, hey, that reveal is going to be on like in 5 minutes. We should probably get off the phone. I was like, oh, all right. So went inside and was like, they said it was going to start at $60,000. That's
That shit's crazy, dude.
that is insane.
That shit is crazy.
And you're talking what, 470 horse
I think it's 450.
495.
Oh,
It's
really?
almost 500.
Okay, all right.
for 60 grand
Yep.
in a mid rear
It's
engine.
mid-engine. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, man. Josh Jones was like, this is a very attainable car for me. I'm like, yeah,
It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know.
I bet Zach, when Zach and I were pulling the engine a couple weekends ago out of the race car,
Yeah,
I told him, I was like, I'll bet you within 2 years, Josh is going to have a C8.
yeah,
Mark
I
my
agree
words.
with that.
I was like, I bet him $10.
Yeah,
It wouldn't surprise me.
Nope.
he'll,
I would.
He'll wait.
I would actually be interested. I
Let
would.
him get around to like the first generation of bullshit. Get rid of that square steering wheel. Do some other little things to fix whatever problems are going to crop up because they will. I mean, a totally new platform like this, there's going to be some little issues. Let people figure that out, and then Josh will go and buy one. I guarantee.
For
it.
60 grand, I would be tempted to go buy one and immediately prep it for the track.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
I talked to a guy at Grid Life
Immediately
this
pull
weekend that
everything out
that's
of that
what he's doing.
fucking thing.
He's got a C7 that I saw listed this week, like a full on race car, cage and everything. Get it out of here. I got to make room for my C8. He's a shop owner and he knows a bunch of manufacturers, and he's already been talking to them about that car being a test mule
Prototype car.
for parts. I mean, that's where he's at with it. That's
I don't know how you go faster for cheaper.
you can't
Like the bar is in a different place
not
now.
in a new car. You can't in a new car.
Get out of here with that fucking GT350 bullshit. Don't even come at me with that. It's not the same.
It's not.
It's a great car. Don't get me wrong. It's a great car,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Different
It is
league.
not
I'm blue
the same.
oval. I'm blue oval through and through. But I'm telling you, going to that race in France kind of changed my mind. And then seeing the price point and the performance,
But
we'll
he's going to
see.
own a C8 too. It
We'll
might
see what
take-
the C8
Maybe he
does.
did order one. He's not telling us.
We'll see what it does, but I don't know.
Dude, the race car's going to dominate.
At the very
it's going
least,
to ruin
I-
everything.
At the very least, I hope it sounds as good as the C7.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
We'll see.
I'm waiting for the supercharged one. If they make a twin turbocharged one, I'm done. Just gotta get the financing in order.
Sell the Porsche.
Sell the Porsche, get the financing in
It's
order.
probably
But
appreciated
dude, could
a
you
little
imagine
bit, right?
a twin turbocharged mid-engine Corvette? That shit's insane,
Yeah,
and it's already 500 horsepower.
it's going to be great.
So it's like 750 horsepower then, or what? I mean, I don't
It
even
was
know.
small turbos.
Yeah, exactly. And then you take it to a tuner,
Yeah.
throw an extra couple grand at it. Now
Yeah.
what are we talking?
Yeah, someone to be looking at.
It's
Eclipse
going to have to
1000
make
real
more.
easy.
It's going to have to make more than the current ZR1 does. Or
Yeah.
what was the point?
It's a horsepower war. We can't stop.
Yeah, you can't go smaller.
Nope. Got to keep going.
So the Z06 is probably going to make ZR1 power. And the ZR1's just going to be pointless.
1,000 horsepower, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just gonna sit there and spin in circles. But
How could you
great.
say no?
It'll be great.
how could you say no?
So, WRL car. Let's talk about it.
Well, it's currently in the process of being resurrected
Once again.
for the third
Third,
time.
yeah, we noticed that was in
This
the
is- yeah,
title.
Yeah, it is in the title.
Oh, look at that.
ZR3 Resurrection.
Yeah, this last hit was a little bit more extensive than the one at Hastings.
So we didn't even talk about the Hastings one.
So the one at Hastings, it was unfortunate. It was, the guys on Saturday drove. I wasn't there for that. I wasn't able to make Saturday, but they drove an incredibly great finishing P1 overall in the
So
race.
crazy.
I mean,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Second event
Second event, finishing P1.
on the team and the car.
Yeah. Super, super, super proud of them for pulling together. And it was hot. It was so fucking hot out there.
Tends to be that way in the middle of Nebraska.
Oh my God. Sunday, so Don has been putting together a cool shirt system
Yeah, I talk to him about it every once in a while.
that we've been, helping him beta. Well, the silicone and a whole bunch of the hoses had melted. He was like, well,
Oh, no.
the melting point of that is 130 degrees. So it was at least that hot in the cabin of the car.
That's insane.
And I was in there and did a double stint, almost 3 hours, with no water, nothing to drink.
That's how people.
I think
get
I would have been
hurt.
hallucinating.
I was so ready. I love racing.
That's too much.
I was ready to get out of that car. I was waiting for this fuel pump to quit picking up fuel and start sputtering. And as soon as it did, I was like,
Sweet
Beelzebub,
relief.
Thank Lucifer, I'm ready to get in the pit.
See, I think this is the dirty side of endurance racing that nobody talks about.
No,
It's like,
it's all glamorized.
yeah, like
I couldn't have pissed if I wanted to.
seat time, right? Like that's what people talk about, and then they go and they do it. And they're like, "Get me out of this fucking car!"
Yeah. So
But then as soon as you're done with the weekend, you're like, "All right, when's the next one?
Get me back in that
Let's
car.
get me back in that car again."
we were having communication issues, comm with the radio not working. So by the time they saw me coming in, our next driver was not ready.
Yeah,
So I get in and I'm getting out of the car and Chad is not prepared and
far away.
well, he's not far away, but he's
But I mean,
right
like,
there. He
he's
doesn't even
not-
have his suit on.
Right.
Like he's scrambling to get his suit
He's
on.
5 minutes out.
Not even, not that. He was like, he finally gets everything in, gets in the car, and then a couple laps later, loses it in one of the turns, and just one of the wheels came off. It spun him and threw him into the wall. And day was done then. There was nothing we could do. There was only a few hours left in the race. We still finished P3 in class based on laps. We got those points, but it would have been nice to not have had that happen, and because we had a race 2 weeks later at BIR. So we scrambled, get everything done. Everyone pulled together once again, got the car ready, prepped.
Chad was okay, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, gloss over that. He was fine. Love you, Chad.
Didn't mean to gloss over that.
No, I know you didn't. I just wanted to make sure that people, because they don't know. We know.
Right.
We don't think about it, but yeah, Chad was good.
It wasn't a terrible hit by any means.
There've been worse since.
There's been worse after that. So yes. So we go to BIR, and at this point,
Which configuration did you run? Did you run the Grand Prix or the competition circuit or Donnybrook?
competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of what I figured. Donnybrook's not a very commonly ran course, apparently.
Man, that would have been
It's stupid.
super fast.
It's stupid.
Holy shit.
So hard on fuel.
Yeah. Competition was.
Hard on fuel enough.
It was. It wasn't terrible.
No?
It was all right. I'd never been there.
Such a cool place.
It was a cool place.
It's a neat place.
It was. I dug it. I had fun. Saturday was unfortunate. Randy was out for a stint. Halfway through a stint, blew a half shaft. He had to get towed in. Pulled into the paddock. We realized what was wrong with the car, and within 10 minutes, we had it fixed. I made books for everyone for all the events that we do this year in WRL, and we go through and, what was good, what was bad, where were you fast, where'd you lose time, what were the weather conditions, just to keep a diary of that track event and that weekend. And I wrote in that book, as like the highlight of this weekend is how we came together as a team in the face of adversity. Nothing huge, but it's like, all right, lost an axle, we get it fixed. Quick, concise, calm. Everyone worked together and literally under 10 minutes had that new axle in, car's back, Randy's out, back on track. We're in last place at that time and ended up finished P7 overall.
That's nothing to shake a stick at.
No, and if had that not happened, would have scored, I think, way better. And we just had some unfortunate events happen that had, right now we're sitting P5 in class for overall season points. For a rookie team, only 3 events, 2 crashes. Had that shit not happen,
Who knows?
we're already, we're having a Cinderella year right out the gate. It's just shit happens, man. That's just, if you can't acknowledge and accept the consequences and the risks, that's, this shit's going to happen. If you can't take that, then you shouldn't be out there. Then you should find some other way to involve yourself in racing.
Yeah, I mean it's an emotional roller coaster.
Oh, insane.
Endurance racing, it's wild.
Because then on Sunday it's like, all right, we got the car sorted, like everything ran flawless. For the most part, the guys, Randy and Zach, were both saying that they were having to pump the brakes to set the pads going into some harder
Got a lot
corners.
of pad knockback issues.
Yeah. So between Hastings and BIR, we'd installed a Willwood big brake kit. Something happened. We switched pads from what we were using with that big brake kit to a different compound by a different manufacturer. It was like they were binary. They were on or off. There was no linear, there was no modulation. Like,
That's not good either.
I did not like them.
No.
I was not having to do the pumping like they were out on track. I never felt that on my stint, my double on Saturday. So Sunday morning, Jordan's the first one in the car, is driving a literally flawless stint. Great start. Was running consistently awesome times up there. He's catching on, the guys that are leading in class. These guys have been doing it for a lot of years, and we're starting to gain. And he's passing one of these teams who are like, holy shit. Like, Randy and I was like, this is great. That same lap, he's coming down the straight, total mechanical failure, brakes give out, nothing. Like, he hadn't even touched them and went straight into the tire wall at about 90 miles an hour.
Damn.
And I didn't, he immediately shut the car off, so there was no electrics on. I tried radio, and it was like, Jordan, can you hear me? Not coming back, not coming back. Course workers get over there. Great course workers up there. The emergency crews, everyone that helped us out, eternally grateful. They did a great job. Got him moving. He came out, got him back in the paddock. He's fine. The Hans really did its job.
Yeah.
The harnesses did, all the safety equipment did its job. Preparing that car with safety first, incredibly key. It saved the car and Jordan. So, yeah. And now we're putting the pieces back together. We took the car down to Tony Morrow. Tony and Troy did as much as they could to help it get back to where we were cutting the rail out of the parts car and hopefully putting it in this weekend. And we're gunning to make the 24 in Colorado here in about 5 weeks.
Is that at
High Plains?
High Plains?
Yep. Which is...
You're going to run a full 24, huh?
We're going to...
I mean, that's what you got to do, right? That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's been the point of doing this the entire time, is to run a 24-hour race. And, I mean, that's all Randy and I have talked about. It's like,
Yeah.
can't wait to drive at night. Just want to get out there in the car. Just let me put down my laps at night. I cannot wait. Because at dusk during an endurance race, whether it's on TV or in person, is one of my favorite things in the world. I can't even tell you. It's just that magical period for me, and I live for that.
The people that I've talked to that have ran 24s or that run, have done a handful of endurance racing, they'll be like, you got to run the 24, right? You have to. You got to go and you got to do it once. But then those doubleheader 8-hour weekends, you do 8 one day, 8 the other, that's the ticket. You got to do the 24 at least once. It's the whole point of endurance racing.
Right.
It's the challenge. It's being able to say, I and my team raced 24 hours nonstop. We did it. But the stress of the whole thing and the sleeplessness and the exhaustion and the stupidity of it all.
It's more than just the mechanics of the car.
Yeah.
Or the racecraft. It's all these other things that go into it.
Yep.
And the variables that you can't even account for. And we're all looking very, very forward to doing that.
It does look like a lot of fun.
It does.
It's brutal. It's so brutal.
It was brutal enough just staying awake
Right.
in France. I was
Yeah,
like, how am I going to do this?
With a car.
Well, see, I think that
So you're
Driving
just
and
trying to
crewing
sleep-
for my
trying to
team.
sleep
there's a
through the
lot
night.
of adrenaline involved in that. I think it's very because I mean I haven't made it a secret on the show. I end up working a lot of like stupid long hours and like full 24-hour shifts because shit goes wrong, and that's just what my job calls for sometimes. And as long as you're doing, you don't notice it. And as soon as you stop, you're done.
Right.
As soon as you take a break, you're
Screwed.
asleep. But you're going to have so much adrenaline. There's so much stuff going on. There's so many things that you're worried about, that you're working on, that you're dealing with.
That's even.
Next thing you know, it's going to be over.
I mean, I thought we'd have more time, even during these regular, weekends, like doing an 8 and 8. It's like, well, I'll start getting a meal ready or something. It's like there's something to do all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
There should
Never
be.
not
There should be.
doing something.
No, if you're not doing something, that means something's not getting done.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So,
It's exactly right.
yeah, it's a lot of work. There's a reason that those professional teams have 40 people on them.
Right.
In a pit box.
Yep.
So,
I have no follow up to that. That was almost poetic, Boonie. Especially talking about dusk racing.
No.
It's exciting stuff.
when is your 24?
September 7th and 8th, right? Based on this
It's on the
calendar.
schedule.
I got 2
That
things
we're
in
looking at.
September
No,
already.
then October
September's not
19th.
looking
September's going to be so busy.
not
for
looking
me.
leisurely.
July was not leisurely. August
August is a scramble. September's super
leisurely
busy.
for me.
I feel like I'm catching
October
back
is-
up in August.
I may have to look at that date for the 24 to confirm that.
You think that's
Your-
maybe wrong?
Your schedule from Instagram says September 7th and 8th.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was the weekend after. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you right now.
Everybody thinks they need to get married in September. I don't know what the deal is.
Selfish. Really.
Yeah, it really is.
Anywho, I think that's it, Boonie. I think that we need to come back and play some games and have some laughs.
We need to play some games. We need to,
Maybe we all get a little more sleep,
create some conflict.
create some
Yeah.
conflict.
Sleep is not.
We could turn this into a reality show. We could make up some conflict. We could manufacture some conflict.
I'm good with that.
Maybe we could put up some like hidden cameras in here.
Air
You know what I
quotes.
mean? And you guys could have
We could have like
Oh,
a
what do
diary
you
room.
mean?
We
diary.
could have like a
Yeah, what's
little-
this room?
Yeah,
Can we do that in
like
there?
Oh, that's my
Where you
pleasure.
go in there and I
that's
talk
my
about it.
pleasure
Oh, that's
room
your
where this
pleasure room?
chair
Yeah, we can't
that
go in there.
Zach
Damn it, Zach.
sold me goes.
Well, maybe we'll avoid the pleasure room, but we could use part of your office. We could set a little camera in there, a little
Yeah,
single shot.
talk to it.
Yep,
You know,
talk
be
to
like,
it.
God,
Express
that
all your feelings.
That Boonie guy is just,
I know.
he knows how
All
to
the
get
time.
under my skin all the time.
I know the shit you talking
We
about.
could put a
man.
hot tub in here. You know,
Feels like a
It's hot
sauna right
enough
now.
in here.
they all have hot tubs though.
Well, but the heat, that brings in more angry. Right? You don't-
True, making
Yeah.
people hot makes them angry.
Yeah. That's,
angry right
that's
now.
like interrogation 101.
He's pissed. I can feel it. That's why
That's why
I'm
Robbie
leaning
hasn't said
away from
anything
him
for
a
the
little
last
bit.
You can
20
feel the
minutes.
heat coming
Get away.
off of me, man.
He's getting either heat stroke or he's going to punch somebody.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe
like,
both.
that's just how I
so
am
real
all the time.
possibility of both.
Robbie's like that when he's nice and cool. Also,
Yeah, like if I'm perfectly comfortable, that's my normal state.
I just thought it was funny. Like, so Boonie goes to Europe. He spends like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks there, whatever it was, by himself. And the first thing I think of is that's Robbie's dream vacation.
It is. I'd pay good money for that.
pay good money to be by myself all the time.
I remember I went to work a while back. I had a whole weekend where all I did was work in the garage, and like no one was like Jess was gone. I had the whole like I literally talked to the people at like Poncheros and Lowe's
And the dog.
and the dogs for like 3 days. My boss goes, "Yeah, I'd pay good money for that." Yeah, it was the best weekend I've had all year.
I mean, you lost me at dogs, but that sounds pretty good.
Cats are
You're
better.
cat people.
Right, we
Yo,
are.
you're a
Are you-
rabbit people.
Are you a cat guy?
We're cat people.
Oh,
No,
Boonie,
no.
my
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, there we go, Adam.
See, then
All
we got
right.
something to bond on now.
You and me.
Cats are the
No,
best.
All pussy.
No. He is a Dunlop rabbit guy now.
Rabbits are
No,
kind of just
no.
long-eared cats, though. It's fine.
The rabbit is that's my wife and kids with that.
It's okay. It's like the memes with the father doesn't want the dog, but then father and the dog, and it's
Yep,
father and the
yep,
dog sitting on
yep,
the couch.
yep,
It's you and
yep.
this rabbit.
You know, I was by myself this past weekend, and I did take the rabbit outside to the cage and sit inside with
See?
the rabbit.
See? You see how that goes?
You're right. You're right.
I had a
Cats
rabbit when I
rule,
was a child,
dogs
too.
rule.
It's okay.
End of story.
Now
See, but-
Boonie and I might be enemies.
rabbits
Porsche,
don't-
BMW, dogs, cats.
Oh yeah, I went over to Michael's house tonight. And I accidentally let the dog out. I was like,
Yeah, the dog
See, I
ran.
did
That
that.
wasn't his fault.
I
though.
did that once too.
That wasn't
it's
his
a real
fault, though.
deal.
It's like everybody that the first time they come there, he has to escape.
Ollie,
And I'm
He
trying
looks
to yell at this
trusting.
thing like it's a cat and it's not listening to me. I was like,
It's-
no, they don't.
He looks.
is this?
He looks trustworthy, and then he fucking disappears.
He's real shady.
Sneaky. He's shady as fuck.
He's so friendly about it though.
He's the friendliest,
super
shadiest
happy.
being on the face of the earth. Kind of sounds like a cat. Cats are shady.
Cats are fine.
Can't trust
Cats
them.
are shady, dude.
My cat,
Cats are so shady.
My cat's not shady.
I'm not saying okay, not all cats are shady, but I would say a larger portion of cats are shady compared to dogs.
hey, rude.
Come on, man, you got to agree with me on that.
Nope.
I don't have to agree with anything.
You can like cats. I'm not saying that's a problem. I'm just saying I don't trust cats. Some cats, not all cats.
Rude.
Some cats are great.
That's your next tattoo. Cats ain't no good.
Oh,
Dogs ain't no good. See, told you.
God ain't no good.
You don't hear
jeez.
you don't
Yes.
hear dogs get or you don't hear cats like attacking people.
No.
It's because they kill all the witnesses.
Yep.
Hey, you still don't hear about it. That's all I'm
Exactly.
saying.
It's a government conspiracy.
See, cats are the ones like if the Earth actually was flat, they would have knocked everything off of it.
Yeah,
It's true.
that's how
So
we
it's
know it
not.
isn't.
There's
It's
no
not
such thing
actually
as
flat.
flat Earth.
How do you feel about the bird conspiracy?
Oh well, my wife is a big time birder. Like she's
So
into-
she's on board with birds being real?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. I wouldn't have a house if I was like,
Birds are
what
government.
are you watching these
spy
government
devices?
machines for?
Can you please do that just one time, but like record it so I can see her reaction?
You need
That'd
to
be
get a
great.
birds aren't real T-shirt. Just wear it around the house.
I'll buy you that.
Wait,
That wouldn't go over well.
How about I wear it next time?
That wouldn't be a good-
I'll get
oh.
it and wear it to the next time I come over
You-
for F1.
You would.
That'll be the last time you're invited over, Robbie.
She wasn't there last time.
It'll be F1
That'd
at
be-
Robbie's
that-
house
that'd be
instead
funny.
of F1 at Boonie's house.
That's fine.
dude, how,
That Verhout kid's not coming over again, is he?
Yeah, he's wearing his bird shirt.
dude, you know somebody's spying on us. How did so many people get that damn targeted ad after we talked about
Yeah,
it?
I got
So
the
many
damn
people. I
targeted
got it
ad.
too.
Yeah,
I didn't look.
What?
Well, I looked it up.
Birds
so if
aren't
I
real.
looked it up,
Birds
yeah,
aren't
but
real.
I didn't.
That shit started. Yeah, it started showing up on
Because
mine.
the
see,
group.
they're
Yeah.
fucking listening to us, dude.
I'm like,
We should get paid for that.
like
That was
I
a
We
just,
lot
should get paid for
advertising.
that.
I
I'm
didn't
just
even,
saying.
I didn't look it up or anything. I just heard
it
about it
on
the
a podcast.
Right.
And then
Noise
all
coming.
Of a sudden, like
Kind
it
of
starts-
laugh about, oh, haha, it's funny.
Like the
right?
algorithm start. I'm starting to see the shit on Facebook in my feed. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on?
Right. It's because they're listening, man.
They are. They have to be listening. There's no other.
There's no
explanation.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got tape over my. You don't have tape.
I have tape on. After that, I
They
put
can-
tape on. I don't trust anybody
they
anymore,
can
dude.
watch me.
No, I don't either.
We should do another experiment where we pick something sort of random and talk about it for a little while and say it several times and see if it starts popping up on people's feeds. Like this
Water
but-
polo.
Aquafina.
But we need
What if
we need somebody with some money. You know what I mean? Like somebody that would do some advertising.
Oh, like a brand.
Yeah.
Probably.
Like
And
we should
say
just
the
like
name.
all drink Coke the whole time.
But see, the thing is, it
It's
has
gotta
to be a
something
little
weird,
bit
like-
obscure
like
because
Surge. We're all drinking Surge this
Oh,
weekend.
fuck yeah.
The thing.
I'll drink Surge.
Squirt.
I don't
I'll drink
know.
Squirt.
Surge is a
I'd rather
thing.
have Jolt.
Yeah, Jolt's better.
I miss the days when you could get that Jolt
Volt.
Red and Jolt Blue.
Volt.
Volt.
Volt was the green one. That was the green can.
oh, I remember Volt.
I don't remember.
I
That.
do remember Volt.
I just,
Volt is better.
Jolt, so you can get the Jolt Colas now.
It's back.
Yeah, and I love their tagline. It's all the sugar, twice the caffeine. It's so good. Does that really upset you?
Yeah,
That seems on brand for Adam.
that does seem
Yes,
on.
But I
brand
don't
for
really
him.
like colas. I'm not a big dark soda guy. I mean, I like Jolt. Don't get me wrong, but like, if I have a choice between like a Pepsi and a Mountain Dew, I'm going to drink the Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Racist.
You know, it is what it is. But like, they used to make Jolt Red and Jolt Blue, and you can buy them, and that was the best.
Never saw that.
No.
It was like when I was in high school. They used to sell them at Come and Goes.
See, at that point, I'd moved on to alcohol. Pretty heavy.
yes. Yeah, I'm not.
I was
Not
out of the
that
soda
ring.
pop game.
Yeah.
Now you're in the sparkling water game.
Yeah. Oh, heavy.
Oh, did you have the hoppy refresher?
I can't
Or would
find
that
it.
be
It
not-
doesn't
not
exist
good?
anymore.
Oh,
What?
I went to
darn.
every liquor store in
What the
Colorado
fuck?
Springs. It's
the
not
hoppy
there.
refresher.
Hoppy
Like
refresh.
Lagunitas
Dude, it's-
makes a hop flavored beer or
It's
water.
a hoppy
hop flavored
water. There's no alcohol in it.
It's an
it just
IPA
tastes
flavored
like
water.
hops.
It tastes better than you
It's
think
so
it would.
good.
but it's water.
It's so good.
It's fucking disgusting.
It tastes
so
better than
good.
you would think.
I'm so
it's-
happy
okay,
about this.
It's
right
a hop
now.
water.
So is it a really, really watered down
No.
alcoholic beer?
No.
No.
It's a hop flavored water.
Yes.
That's fucking stupid.
It's a
No,
sparkling
Thank
water
you.
that's
I said
hop
the same
flavored.
thing until I
Thank
tried
you,
it.
No.
dude. They're like ranting and raving over it. It was terrible.
I went to every
sounds
liquor store in
terrible.
Colorado
It was-
Springs and
if
they didn't have it.
If I stack ranked all the bullshit water we've drank in the day, that would be by far the bottom.
Worse than that
This
weird
sounds like
package that we
number
got
one.
with bacon.
This sounds as bad as like cucumber still water. Like it
It's not,
sounds
though.
that bad.
What's wrong with cucumber
you need to
still
try.
water?
What the fuck is
first
cucumber
off-
still water?
First off, it's still there's
Well,
no bubbles.
I'll give you that.
Oh,
I'll
that's
give
what.
you-
Okay,
I'll give you
okay.
that.
So
I'll
you're
give you
talking
that.
like this, just but cucumber.
But you don't drink cucumber infused water?
No.
They hand it out at the Porsche dealership. Do you know that? They have like a-
Surely.
Yeah, and
They don't
you
have
can
it at
actually get a nice Weisswurst if you go to BMW. So I'd rather go
Yeah,
to
you get like a
BMW.
fucking dark beer when you go to BMW.
Yeah, you know,
'Cause they're
some-
men.
Some people have taste, some people don't. I mean, it's just whatever. You really don't like cucumber water?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay.
That surprises me actually.
I'm telling you, man, my Simply Limeade and the sparkling water.
I've not had the Simply Lime and the
Do
sparkling.
you drink
water.
this like bullshit?
What is that bullshit?
This isn't
Looks like a Mountain Dew.
kombucha. No, this is
No, it's
the
a-
Trader Joe's
jeez.
brand of LaCroix.
Do you drink that stuff, or do you just drink like straight sparkling water? Don't you?
Straight sparkling with like literally a half ounce of Simply Limeade
Okay.
Limeade, not lemonade.
lime.
I want to try that.
So you're not.
jam.
You're
That's
not
my
like.
jam.
Pretty good.
You're not like.
Robbie
drinking-
knows, like,
It's
if
pretty
you
good.
come to a race and you see me, that's what I'm drinking.
You're not like drinking pamplemousse, Lacroix, and shit like that.
No,
They
fuck that
can't. They
shit.
can't call it grapefruit. Heaven forbid.
No,
Well, it's French.
except it's Minnesota or something like that. It's not French at all.
Well, you betcha.
Ooh, yeah,
Crux.
LaCroix.
It goes great with a hot dish.
Oh god, I bet it does. I know some people from up there. I ask them all the time. Like, do you say hot dish? What the fuck's that about?
Oh yeah, it's total hot dish. There's no casseroles. There's hot dishes.
Potato hot dish.
What is that? Yeah, it's a hot like.
It's a hot plate. I don't
We
know.
can't just describe like. That's not how that works.
Why can't that be the same as like
It's a colloquial thing, like pop and soda.
or like sloppy Joe and loose meat and tavern?
Who says loose meat?
Nobody.
I don't know.
Nobody says loose meat. The context of
No, I
that is
think
very
people call
important.
Well, I'm gonna say loose. I'm saying that now.
I think
from
people
now
call
on.
them loose meats. That's a
Where?
thing.
Juicy Lucy's.
No, that's totally different.
That's a-
That's a
yeah,
Minnesota
just,
thing
yeah.
too.
I do want to try
No,
Juicy
that is
Lucy.
just a Matt's thing. I'm sorry. There's plenty of
I've
other
never-
places to get juicy.
Well,
Lucy's. there's only
there's the-
one place
That's
to get
like
the real.
feud in Minneapolis.
Yeah,
I've never been to either. I would like to go
you got
to
to go
both.
You got to go to Matt's.
I want to go to both.
I want to go.
I'm done.
It's
Boonie's
35th
got it
and
in his
Cedar.
head like this is the right way, and any other
Let's go.
option is wrong.
Let's
We-
go.
Randy and I stopped there on the way up to BIR.
We need to
It's the
find.
first time he'd ever had one.
We need
I
to
haven't-
find
I
some
haven't-
car
oh, God,
reason
dude.
to go to Minneapolis at some point, so we can do things.
I just want to go to Minneapolis in general, but yeah. Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
We got to figure out a way to make it podcast related.
Yeah.
I could probably help you with that.
Juicy
I know a lot of
Lucy's.
car guys up there.
Yeah,
That'd be
The
good.
scooter scene up there used to be fucking.
Can we get on some
the
ruckuses?
enormous.
Volkswagen scene's huge up there too.
You mean Porsche?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that too.
I'm very sweaty. Can we?
It's so
Can we stop?
Yeah, we can shut this
It's
shit
so
down.
hot in here.
It's hotter in here than it is outside. I'll
It is. I want to go
guarantee
stand outside. Actually,
My balls was hot.
it. My balls was hot.
my balls was hot. Thank you, Joe Rogan. My balls was hot.
That was
Derek
Derek Lewis,
Lewis.
man.
Yeah, I know. But what did he say to Joe Rogan though?
It's like my balls was hot.
That's all he
Why'd-
said.
Why'd,
Why'd
he's
you
like, why'd you take your shorts off?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
My balls was
was
hot.
hot. That's what it was. All right. On that note, catch you guys next week.